Hello, everyone. Along with my colleague, Dr. John Grable, I'm Dr. Charles Chaffin, co-founders of MRI. And today we're going to talk about MRI Genesis, which is a revolutionary tool that can turn prospects into clients using risk assessment and financial psychology. So in general, MRI it's a client-centered tool where we do integrate the behaviors and attitudes and biases of a client along with their comfort with risk to generate practical insights and actionable real guidance that can help advisors. So we think about it as kind of the advisor's aid in helping them establish deeper relationships and knowing where to go in an efficient way to have that deeper relationship with a client. So let's talk about MRI Genesis. But before we do, we all know that prospects ghost advisors all the time. And there's 5 reasons for it. There's decision avoidance and overwhelming. Clients are feeling as if I have all these choices and all these options, and if I just feel like I don't even know where to begin. So what do? Well, they just have that choice overload and they just detach entirely. It could be an element of a lack of trust, not feeling as if, okay, what exactly does the fee structure look like for this advisor? Or am I going to really trust this individual, not only with my assets, but trust this individual with my financial information? And we all know that a lot of clients are actually more guarded about their financial information than they are their medical information. There could be a fear of judgment. Maybe this client has a lot of debt or has made missteps in the past or has been a victim of fraud in the past or whatnot. So there's that fear of judgment that the client thinks the advisor may just look at them in a way that's not positive. The ROI may not be clear to the prospect, knowing that the money that they're going to pay, regardless of the business model, is going to be conducive to them actually seeing growth in their portfolio. Or there could be too much sales pressure, right? That the advisor's pushing too hard too soon in that change process. So we built MRI Genesis, and it's based upon our MRI core model, but it really is the ultimate client prospecting tool. And there really isn't anything quite out there like it. And basically what we do is prospective clients are scored using this MRI Genesis star system that John's going to walk through in a second. And advisors are provided actionable feedback to move a prospective client into this advisory engagement. What to do based upon the financial psychology and comfort with risk of their client. And the system is designed to really be efficient, to maximize advisor time and return on that advisor prospecting investment. John?
Thank you, Charles. So the Genesis system goes through a process. So it starts with measuring a client's comfort with taking risk. And so that's driving a lot of the decisions and a lot of the feedback that the advisor is going to receive. But beyond that, and I think this is what makes the whole MRI system so powerful, is that the advisor is going to learn a lot about the prospective client, everything from the client's communication preferences, behavioral biases, history of fraud and abuse, which is very important, issues like FOMO, financial satisfaction, all of these financial psychology elements that are overlaid on this comfort with risk score. Now, the MRI system takes all of that information and generates direct actionable feedback to the advisor. So as an advisor, you're going to receive the MRI Genesis report, and it's going to give you insights about the clients that we just talked about. And it's going to give a star rating system that basically describes how likely this prospective client is to turn into a dedicated client for the advisor. The other element that's important here is everything that we're going to look at in just a minute. All of it is very customizable. So depending on the advisor's need, the enterprise need, the feedback can be altered. Particular items can be removed if they're not essential to what the advisor needs. So let's look at some of the feedback. So what you're seeing here, it comes from the core MRI model. So let's look at financial satisfaction. The client answered in a way that provides a green arrow feedback. So this makes the feedback extremely intuitive for an advisor. and the information the advisor sees can just be integrated very quickly. So in this case, the prospect feels satisfied with their overall financial situation. It's not a yellow mark, it's not a red mark. So it's just an informational notion or informational item. But if you look at the bottom here, where you see the red arrow, where it's strength of goals and values, this is something an advisor needs to at least pay attention to sooner rather than later. So in this case, this prospective client indicated that the way they handle money does not align with their values and goals. So this misalignment could negatively affect their financial well-being and overall sense of fulfillment. So within the core system, that's the kind of feedback an advisor would receive. Genesis takes it one step further, and this is the real value proposition at the enterprise level. So we saw that this client had a red arrow, and the feedback was succinct and somewhat actionable. Here is where it goes to the next step, helping the advisor take that information and apply it to the client situation or the prospective client situation. So the system will give back to the advisor very actionable steps. So in this case, acknowledge and validate the client's or the prospective client's confidence. We also give very specific questions to ask in order to actually acknowledge and validate the confidence. Other ideas here for this particular client: subtly introduce the risks of overconfidence. And so again, we're giving questions, we're giving nudges, we're giving information for the advisor to use when working with this client. And when it's all said and done, there's so much information that's coming back to the advisor that moving this particular client from prospective, or this person from prospective client to actual client, is going to be enhanced dramatically when Genesis is put into practice. Let's go to the last. I think this is our last slide, so I'll turn it back to you, Charles.
This is our last slide. So basically, Genesis is one of a family of products within MRI. We talked about the core and MRI Essential and Secure, which gets into products and using financial psychology and comfort with risk relative to fixed annuities, wealth readiness, which our banking partners are using, as well as Plus and Custom. So if you want to do a demo of MRI Genesis or any of the other products here, you can email me at drcharles@moneyandriskinventory.com. We'll let you walk through it. You can be a client, see what your feedback is like, and then you can act as your own advisor as you're looking at that feedback. So we welcome you to take a look.